Okay, class, picking up where we left off at, we had -4 plus 10 plus 6 minus a -8. So again, we come here, we do -4 plus 10. So in our mind, we'll do 10 minus 4, which is 6. And since 10 is positive, we'll leave the 6 positive. Plus 6 minus a -8. 6 plus 6 is 12 minus a -8. Now, we have 12 minus a -8, which will give us 12 plus 8. Now, 12 plus 8, we know will give us 20. And that will be our final answer. Now we come here. Now you notice this is a fraction bar which we look at as a parenthesis. But we look here on the numerator, we have 4 minus 7 times the parenthesis of 4 minus 7, and 2 to the third minus 3 squared. So we would do this parenthesis first. So we have 4 minus 7. 4 minus 7 in parentheses will give us -3. Because remember, in your head, these are opposite signs. 7 minus 4 is 3. And since 7 has the minus sign in front of it, and it's the larger of the two numbers, we will carry that negative sign. Then now we will write all that we had before. Now, we look here in this parenthesis. There's nothing more that we can do with this parenthesis. Now, let me explain something here with this fraction bar here, which we look at as parentheses. What this means, this is a separator. That means we do everything in the numerator, get that value. Do everything in the denominator, get that value, then divide them. So we can finish up the numerator. So we have a minus sign and multiplication here, because now this parenthesis is a separator. So we will have 4, and you can take minus 7 times a -3, which will give us a positive 21. And we'll carry over our 2 to the third minus 3 squared. Now 4 plus 21 is 25 over 2 to the third minus 3 to the second power. So now our 25 remains in our numerator. Now we go to the denominator. We have no parentheses, but we do have exponents. So we do the exponents from left to right. So 2 to the third power is 8 minus 3 to the second power. So the 25 still remains. And we have 8 minus, and the only thing squared is the 3 here. 3 to the second power is 9. So now we have 25 over 8 minus 9 is -1. And 25 divided by -1 is -25. Now just as a footnote, remember these have opposite signs. You subtract them. 9 minus 8 is 1. And since 9 is the larger number, it makes it -1. And here, positive divided by a negative is negative, and 25 divided by 1 is 25. That's a -20. Well, your final answer would be a -25. All right, now we come here to the next problem. We have basically the same setup. We do what's in this parenthesis first. 6 minus 8 we know would be -2, and that's squared. And we'll keep, well, you know what? We're not going to bother the denominator right now. Let's just concentrate on the numerator. So, the parentheses are done. So now it's just a separator. So now we have multiplication and the exponent. We will do the exponent first. And since what's in parentheses is negative, so it'd be parentheses of -2 squared, which would make that a positive 4. And this -4 on the outside, we'll just bring across. So now, we will add -4 times a positive 4, which will give us a -16. Because we know a negative times a positive is a negative. Okay, so we took care of the numerator. Now let's concentrate on the denominator. We have subtraction, and we have these two parentheses. There's nothing we can do inside these parentheses, so these parentheses are separators. So if you notice, we have subtraction and then multiplication. We will do the multiplication first. So we have 2 minus A negative 3 times a positive 2 will give us a negative 6, because a negative times a positive is negative. Now we add 2 minus a negative 6, which will give us 2 plus 6. And 2 plus 6 is 8. Now negative 16 divided by a positive 8 will give us a negative. 16 divided by 8 is 2, so your final answer is a negative 2. Now we move on here to the next problem. I'm not sure. Yes, this is the last problem of the page. Now it's a little longer because we have brackets, parentheses, addition, subtraction, multiplication. We have everything except for the exponent in this problem. So let's go here. We do parentheses, whichever one comes first from left to right. The first one is the bracket. So we go inside the bracket and we have the parentheses. So we would do this parenthesis. Negative 3 plus 5, we know is positive 2. So now, we still have to work inside this bracket. We want to get this bracket done, so the only thing it would be is a separator. So now inside this bracket, we have addition, and then we have these parentheses that are acting as a separator as multiplication. So we would do the multiplication first. So it'd be negative 6, positive 5 times 2 is a positive 10. Now we add negative 4. Negative 6 plus 10 will give us positive 4. Now, we're done inside of the bracket. But now the bracket is a separator. And remember, we got positive 4, opposite sign. 10 minus 6 is 4, and 10 is the larger number, it's positive. So now we're left with multiplication and subtraction. So we'll take negative 4 times 4, which is negative 16, minus 7, because we know we would do multiplication before subtraction according to the order of operations. Now, negative 16 minus 7 is the same as negative 16 plus a negative 7. Now they have the same sign. We add them together and carry the sign, which would be negative 23. And that is it.